and welcome to the 13th episode of the 8-6 podcast. Lucky number 13, hosted by Half Past 8 and Swag Rabbit. Our top story today, California's out to get car enthusiasts again with new tire laws. Plus, Subaru sets up to carry the enthusiast market with 3 new models with manuals. GM keeps a foot in the battery business, and more recalls galore. Because, it's a tradition at this point. All right. This, I think, is probably going to take up most of today's episode, because it is a doozy. This isn't because California is a fucking hellhole. It's not even like a law. It's not legislation. The California Energy Commission. So it's one of their weird, like, governmental bodies that can make laws, but isn't actually accountable to the voters. One of those fucking things. The proposal is that the replacement tire efficiency program would require that replacement tires for vehicles meet or exceed the standards for rolling resistance and vehicle efficiency of the OEM tires, which is a shit idea in so many ways. So very many ways.
California Energy Commission is just yet another commission. And this isn't even California only. There are federal commissions that are like this.
Yeah.
That are just the enemy of humanity, effectively. It's like those people need to lose their humanity cards because they don't follow it anyway.
It's fucking stupid. It's stupid on so many ways. So the problem is OEM tires suck. OEM tires are shit. They tend to be crappier, lower end cheapo tires to cut costs for the manufacturer. And they tend to prioritize, like they usually have fairly low rolling resistance as far as tires go, because that helps manufacturers hit their EPA mileage targets. The cost to this is that you get a tire that has no durability and no grip, which is the reason why basically no manufacturers warrant OEM tires of any kind on their vehicles. These tires often last less than 30,000 miles compared to like a proper set of all seasons that'll get you twice that minimum.
I change my tires once a year, and I drive like a hoot every time I'm in the car.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about? Are you kidding? 30,000 miles will get me nowhere.
Yeah. This especially sucks for enthusiasts. I mean, for enthusiasts, the impact is both great and small. It's significant in that this basically, like, enshittifies your daily driving experience because you have to drive on shitty fucking OEM or OEM-like tires everywhere. So if you are the kind of person that wants to have a responsible level of fun on the streets, fuck you. I don't think this is going to have, it's going to have an impact on, I'm thinking autocross specifically because that's what I'm most familiar with. Because street category, you have to run tires that are street legal. What impact is this going to have on the rules? Or are they just going to say, we don't care? As regards this, we don't care. 200 tread wear minimum, drive whatever.
Here's OEM. Here's street legal. Like, just, I'm sorry, this is what you're allowed to buy, and this is what is available everywhere else. Is just the most retarded shit I've ever heard.
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing a track day, or you're doing an HPDE, or your whichever, you're doing autocross, you can always just get a set that you only use for that. It's probably not going to impact that as much unless they're just straight up going to say saying that this doesn't just impact like using them on the street. This isn't just you have to use OEM or better tires by this one dumbass metric on the street. It's you can't purchase tires that don't meet the standard in the state of California. So if you want to do autocross in the state of California, drive to Oregon or Nevada to pick up your friggin' tires. I find some of the details of the proposal fucking laughable. It's like, it could save drivers an average of $79 over the 4-year lifespan of a set of tires. First of all, and this is in fuel. First of all, you're not getting 4 years out of OEM crappies. Like 30,000 miles in 4 years, 7,500 miles a year. Does anybody that does any car that isn't like a supercar drive like 7,500 miles a year or less? Come on,
No.
fuck off with that. But also, $79. The last time I bought a set of tires, I bought not the cheapest all seasons I could buy, but damn near. The cheapest I was happy with. 400 Treadwear Advent tires. I'm very happy with them. They cost me $400. That is cheap.
For the whole set, or
yeah, for the whole set, like 90 some a tire. That was cheap for street tires. $79 in 4 years. $20 a year in savings if you drive 7,500 miles a year. But you have to buy tires twice as much. And I'm sorry, that's $40 in 2 years, realistically, for the actual lifespan of these tires. So you're saving $40, you're saving $20 a year, and you're spending an extra $200 a year minimum. I mean, who knows how much these OEM like tires are. I mean, knowing the way things are, they're going to be dramatically more expensive because they're going to be manufacturers and suppliers are going to take advantage of the fact that these are the only tires you can get for your vehicle in the state of California. So of course prices are going to go up. So probably more like probably more like you're net down $400 a year because of this dumbass ruling. And also, we're saving the environment, we're saving the planet. Microplastics,
I'm sorry, but
the entire rubber industry, which you have now what do you think tire degradation generates? It's microplastics. It's all microplastics. Most of microplastics is just tire degradation. This makes it worse. And then byproducts of tire manufacturing. This makes it worse.
You were talking about a cheap set of tires. How much did you say yours were? Like 90 a piece or something like that?
98 a piece, I think.
I run Continental Extreme Contact DWS 06 Pluses. They're the all-season tire.
Yep.
Fantastic tire, but they're 180 a piece.
Oh, yeah.
So, like...
See, that's closer to a price you can expect for street all-season. Yeah. $800 a set.
And I usually buy them, like, 1-2 tires at a time at most.
This is fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's abysmal.
Yeah. California's proposal could bring the life expectancy of replacement tires below 30,000 miles.
Well, dude, and all the supercar crashes, I think people are going to run whatever tires they want anyway if they're rich because they'll just pay their way out of shit. But, like, if a supercar owner that is too broke to fight battles, but, like, like the influencers, basically, they're fucking don't really have enough money to drag shit out in court forever, but they do have enough money to get into one of these cars, actually has to buy an OEM tire, that car's going to be crashed in the week. They have too much power. They like to show it off. Like all the supercar owners down there are like that. Yeah. They fucking, every now and then they like to hammer it. If you have OEM tires, there's going to be cars crashed out everywhere. They're not sticky enough.
This is, for the average user, it is significantly more dangerous, especially in the rain, especially in any kind of adverse conditions. It's also more expensive, dramatically more expensive, which I think is the point. I think the real point of this is to make owning and operating a car that much more prohibitively expensive so that more people can be funneled onto public transit and more effectively corralled. And while, yes, I'm an advocate for people who don't have any interest in not driving, I don't like the state forcing that with dumbass shit like this. But
we also have to consider that it's California we're talking about, so the public transit is full of zombies and not really worth it.
Yeah. So, dramatically more expensive for the average user. For enthusiasts, it's a pain in the ass to do any kind of enthusiast driving. It's just a pain in the ass to drive anywhere on crappy tires. It's going to cause more microplastic pollution. It's going to cause more pollution from the rubber industry. Or what? Some bullshit virtue signaling like, oh, it'll save 2 million metric tons of CO2 a year. I don't give a shit. Fuck you. That's nothing. Oh, it'll save $1 billion annually in fuel costs. As fucking if it will.
Well, it's the continuation of them looking at only one metric and not considering anything else in the cost. Because what this is going to do is these tires are going to go out 5 times as often. So you're going to have 5 times the number of tires that are just degrading everywhere.
Yeah.
I said degrading. Thank you. We're just going to... I'll put that in anyway, but fuck you. Words are hard.
Yeah, I just fuck off, California, is the summary of this.
California needs to have its ability to make any law for anything null and void. Frankly, they just need to, like, they've made all the bad decisions because you and I have talked at length about DEF, diesel exhaust fluid,
Hmm.
and how it literally just took all the microcarbons and stuff that were going into the air from the exhaust. It just took them, clumped them up, and then dumped them all on the side of the road. That's all it did.
Yeah.
Because it didn't actually save anybody. And then California buried the whole thing because they would have had to pay for 10 years worth of DEF systems being put on vehicles by the time they realized it was too late, or by the time they realized it was bad. So now we
It's
just have these systems forever.
probably the only OEM tires that are any fun to drive on are the ones that come from the factory in the 8.6, because you can drift at 20 miles an hour. But at the same time, I would not want to do any kind of actual performance driving on those.
No, hell no, dude.
Because
When I
they
first got my car, they weren't even all seasons. They were just straight the race tires. I had the Continental Extreme Contact Sport Pluses
ooh.
on there. They had almost no tread life compared to what I have now. It was less than half, but oh my god, those tires stuck no matter what I did to that car.
Damn. And it has explicit carve-outs for winter and off-road tires. Well, thank God for that. Meaning the more performance-oriented tires will get a pass.
Then what was the fucking point?
Well, winter and off-road tires get a carve-out, which means that performance-oriented... I think you're missing some performance-oriented tires, which is why this whole thing is ridiculous. Yeah.
It hurts my brain. It really does. Every time I think, oh, maybe California will get its shit together this year, and then they pull something like this.
Yeah. This is going to pass, because of course it will. Californians are going to be burdened with this absolute BS, and I hope that when they flee that actively disintegrating state, that they have enough good sense not to vote for the same BS that caused it.
I will say that this law is going to cost people that I see a year after this law, another 15% of the remaining population in California at least will probably leave. This is going to make it much more expensive to do anything. If you have to keep replacing tires, people don't want to be around zombies. That's why they own cars.
Yeah.
At least in places like that.
So on a more optimistic note, Subaru.
Subaru is trying to save the manuals, and I approve.
Subaru's doing more than that. They're trying to save the enthusiast cars, which is surprising because the last decade of Subaru's output has been garbage, except for the BRZ, which they were bullied into making by Toyota, and they didn't want to sell.
Yeah, the cars that they asked people not to buy.
Yeah, they've been going downhill for a while. Hopefully, this signals a turnaround. They are not just coming out with one enthusiast-oriented model, they're coming out with 3, although only one of them is really new. So this is the image they released. They've confirmed they're putting a manual in all of them, and I have stuff to say about that. One of these is a new trim of the WRX that hopefully doesn't look like shit and doesn't have a ton of plastic and doesn't have an iPad dash.
Hoping.
Here's hoping. The BRZ, they're doing interesting things with that. Apparently, this is... So they made kind of a one-off. I'm trying to find the name. The STI Sport Type RA. Special edition of the BRZ. They only built 300 units of them. It's kind of like a... Yeah, it's like a super special version of the TS. It looks goddamn gorgeous. That wing is sexy.
That's sexy.
That's hot. And apparently their next version of this, which I think adds fuel to the speculation that Subaru and Toyota are gonna kind of, I don't know, get joint. They're gonna divorce, but get joint custody of the 8.6 is what it looks like. And it really looks like Subaru's doing something interesting with it, I should say. They're definitely doing something special because they're announcing something with it. Hopefully this is the all-wheel drive turbocharged one that they've been teasing, that they built a one-off of for Rally. And then there's also what looks like a hatchback, and I really, really hope is not a crossover, because based on the scale, it needs to not be a crossover. Based on the scale of the image, I don't know if it's wonky, it almost looks like a crossover with a manual, which...
Well, you know what I'm seeing? The front end of the two on each end look very similar. So what I'm hoping is that they're doing what they did in it. Yup. I'm hoping that they're coming back
Mhm.
out with a WRX hatch like they had in 2008.
This
Because the 2008 WRX hatch was actually kind of sexy.
Yes, this is how desperate I am. That wrinkle on the hood there almost looks like a hood scoop. I
Here's
really hope
hoping
it is.
it looks very similar to like I said, it looks very similar front end mostly. Like the mirrors at the same height, everything. So here's hoping.
Yeah, because I really don't want the unveiling to be a new WRX in the manual, yay, and a new BRZ, and they're doing interesting stuff with it, yay, and a new performance-oriented crossover, yay. Because
They haven't done a crossover with a manual in a long ass time. It's been a
does
decade.
the Crosstrek still have a manual?
I don't know. And I'm not just talking about Subaru. I'm talking about the entire fucking ecosystem. I don't think has really had a manual crossover.
What, like the entire car market?
Yeah, I don't know of too many. I've never heard of one.
The Crosstrek. I'm pulling that up. Oh wow, they're cheap. They're
What are we talking about cheap here?
starts at 27, like 27K. That's actually pretty cheap. Yes.
Oh, okay. So there are 4.
Uh-huh.
A true crossover with manual, you'll need to look at the used market as these models were discontinued in recent years. The Subaru had one, the Crosstrek, 5-speed or 6-speed.
Up
Honda
to the
HRV.
2023 model year, so they don't offer it with stick anymore. Boo.
HRV cut it in 2019. Kia Souls cut it after the first generation, and the Fiat 500X was an early model manual.
Oh yeah, when Fiat took the 500 and made it big for whatever
Literally
reason.
no reason.
Why do they do that?
To try to get more people to buy it, but it was a dumb idea. Fiats are not supposed to be big cars. If you want big cars, go somewhere else.
Are also not supposed to be reliable cars. So I
Fix it again, Tony.
This is kind of exciting for me as a bit of a Subaru fanboy.
Oh yeah, I saw this story and I'm like, he's gonna fucking salivate.
I mean, we don't have much. We have teaser images and speculation, but I really, really hope that it lives up to the hype. I also hope that this make more than 300 of these, please, because that looks hot. Like, I don't care
WRX
if it's
rally car bad.
I don't
WRX hatch rally car. Bad.
we need STI again.
We straight do.
Yeah.
But a WRX hatch rally car, I mean, those were very, if I remember correctly, in 2008, those were actually like half of the fucking rally cars out there when it came to Subaru's representation.
Uh-huh.
They were used by a lot of people, including Ken Block in his first, he used it in his first Gymkhana, if I remember correctly. It was a Subaru hatch, yeah.
But I mean, do away with what are they calling it again? It was some, oh yeah, the Sports Vehicle Planning Office. You can't put SVPO on the side of a car. Like STI. Just bring back STI and then have them start doing shit. Give us a WRX STI. Give us a BRZ STI. I mean, hell, Crosstrek STI. They made a Forester STI back in the day and it was awesome. Crosstrek STI, like 2-liter engine with a turbo and a manual that's actually like fun. Shit, I'd buy it for the novelty.
So look up the Gymkhana 2 car. This is because that's everything I'm hoping that this new hatchback is.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
That wing should have been stock.
I mean, that's like one
just
of the few hatches that a wing would look good on because of how short and stocky it already is.
It doesn't have a wing, but I hope it does. The only thing the thing that makes me worry that it is a like performance crossover or whatever is the rear roofline shape is a little bit too blocky for a hatchback. I don't know. It's giving me crossover vibes and I don't like it. But I mean,
we're gonna hold out hope. I'm gonna cross my fingers and then
yeah, we'll see when they actually reveal it.
We should see what Polymarket says. They seem to have a good track record of calling things lately. We should see what they say.
Yeah, it's called insider trading.
Hey, look, if it gets you an early look, I'm whatever, right?
Fair enough. I hope it's this.
I'm gonna have to cut this.
I hope it's this.
Yeah.
Oh, that wing.
That looks a little too Ford focused. I feel like that front end was just copied from the Ford Focus, and then they took the fascia and just like planted it from a Subaru.
Yeah, but I mean, the front end of the Ford Focus is actually pretty good looking, so I don't blame them.
I'm just not a Focus guy. I think they're
Yeah.
cool. I'd drive one if you gave me the chance, but I wouldn't own one.
Yeah, that's fair. I hope they took the stupid EV thing that's kind of lurking in the shadows here and took it out back behind the chemical shed and shot it, because fuck that.
Somebody old Yeller that piece of shit.
Hopefully Subaru has realized that nobody fucking wants EVs anymore now that we're not literally paying people to buy them.
Well, dude, there's too many stories that I found today that are like, oh, the EV market is booming right now because everybody's looking for used EVs, so they don't have to pay for advanced gas prices. It's like that's gonna last a month, and then the prices are gonna come back down.
Yeah, it's people that bought dumbass SUVs and are whining about gas prices when could have bought a sedan.
I'm sorry, but if you can afford a $90,000 GMC Yukon, then you can afford a $20,000 fucking little ass car that uses no gas in it.
Fair. Especially because they bought that $90,000 Yukon on credit because people
Most of them did, yeah.
Oh, but I need the third row so I can get my kids to school. My mother drove 2 kids everywhere in a 90s Elantra. You'll live.
My brother and I were so ADHD that we had to get a minivan to separate us. Fuck it, we were terrible in the car, bro.
Well, I mean, that's what the Ritalin is for. Cheaper than a Yukon.
It's true. I was on that, and it didn't work as well as it could have. I had to learn. I had to learn self-control at some point. So I'm not on any kind of
the
meds
people
for that anymore.
that buy $90,000 Yukons at 24% APR for 96 months and end up paying as much as a house for that piece of shit that'll break down in 2 weeks.
If you can't get the credit through an actual bank with a low APR, you do not need to be financing something.
I agree.
Because the dealerships are gonna rake you over the coals any way they can.
Ooh, speaking of California, they wrap these things in proper Potenzas. I think those are RZs. So if the OEM tire bullshit starts up, well, it comes with Super 200s from the factory. So there you go.
I will say that if you can afford something that starts at $700,000, most of those come wrapped in like Pilot 4S's or whatever, like the high end fucking Pilot Sports.
Yeah.
So you just have to spend more money on a car and then you'll get good wheels.
But I do think we've drifted. This is unfortunately the coming renaissance of the car enthusiast community is perpetually just over the horizon. So we don't have much to go on right now aside from very sexy pics of this car. But
I'm hoping that here's what I'm hoping about this car. I'm hoping that they have redone the front and back so that it's not the exact same as the even like on the new versions of this. Like the next year model we get that they show needs to be redesigned.
I'm hoping
it doesn't need to change the body shape or anything, but the front end and like facelift and all that shit.
I would settle for a front end that doesn't fall off.
You have a point.
Yeah. Moving on, since we have drifted a bit. All right, this is your segment. What's up?
Okay, so yeah, I found this a while back, and I was like, okay, so...
All right, you're up.
GM is developing sodium-ion battery cells, but it's not going to be for EVs. It's going to be for energy storage, because they finally got their thumb out of their ass and looked at the sun and decided, yo, that's a bright idea. All right, cool.
I mean, I don't blame them. They probably had a shitload of productive capacity, a bunch of production line, and they're staring at that, just going,
what do we do with this so we don't lose $1 billion?
Yeah. Staring at a massive battery production line that they dumped billions of dollars into.
There you go again.
And just going,
what the fuck is happening?
Fuck, I'm just going to keep the settings of the collab cam up so I can play whack-a-mole with getting you back up on stream.
But yeah, I have a feeling they overproduce these batteries by a lot and they need to do something with them. So I think this is actually a very good way to use these in a way that allows for not being stuck in the EV market.
It does mention their bolt employs lithium iron phosphate cells sourced from China. Because who doesn't love Chinese bullshit on the road? Plans to use existing and new battery development capabilities to offer commercial energy storage systems in a big way. Okay. It's not simply pointing the excess output of underused cell production factories towards a new use. It isn't. Really? That's at least the foundation of this. They might have tried to invest further from there, but come on. You can't deny that this is cope. This
This
is cope.
this is an attempt to save yourself, and whoever wrote this is like, they're waiting for the EV demand to resume its growth. The EV demand is not going to resume its growth. That's not going to happen. That's not a thing.
But I was gonna say a man can dream, but I don't know that that fully applies. Sodium ion cells. I mean,
It
it's
is failing to connect. We're having issues here.
oh
Oh, there
yeah.
we go.
Oh
Nope. God damn it!
Better low temperature performance and are far more heat tolerant. Good. So maybe they won't just randomly burst into flames when you crash.
Speaking of bursting into flames, there was a car hauler, a truck in the middle. It looked like a GM product. It could have been an electric truck. I'm not sure, but the thing was fully on fire, had caught 4 of the other cars on fire, and had burned the entire cab of the truck yesterday. While I was passing it, they were still firefighting it.
While you were passing it is wild.
Yeah, well, I was going the other way, and they were already on the side of the road trying to fucking put this thing out. So, I don't got time for that shit. I'm busy. I was in the middle of a job. I was taking people to dinner. God damn it.
And they got some free entertainment along the way.
Indeed.
I love this line. The most appealing feature, he says, is that there's a great deal of headroom yet to be exploited in refining them. How many billions upon billions of dollars is GM going to lose pursuing that?
A lot.
Yeah.
So much headroom that we can get rid of. You know, people are statistically getting taller, right?
Well, no, it's what I hear from that statement is that this is unproven technology that they're pouring billions of dollars into, which has worked out for them ever in the last 20 years.
The last time billions of dollars in development worked out for a car company was when they were testing V8s.
Which
like, let's be real here.
They decided to throw away for whatever reason. I mean, it's interesting from an infrastructure point of view because allegedly one of the uses for this is going to be to use the batteries to sort of even out load demands on the grid, which is it's interesting. Because I read an article about that today. Actually, it now that I think about it, it was pitched as saving consumers money because you can sell excess power from your EV back to the grid, power which you had to purchase from the grid in the first place, probably at a higher price than the utility is buying it back from you, and then you're going to and then you're going to have to purchase the power to recharge your EV to drive it. That's going to cost you more, not less.
Yeah. And the thing is, the utility companies do not want to be relying on outside fucking things, so they like bottom dollar you in order to get you to try to stop anyway.
The math ain't mathing on that one.
No, the math is never gonna math.
Honestly, not mathing on that one. Unless you're going to tell me that utility companies are going to start providing generous credits on people's bills in order to have this battery storage plugged in and available to the grid. Now, I'm a National Grid customer because I live in the part of the country where, for whatever fucking reason, we sold the power grid to the British. And I can tell you from my experience, power company ain't that fucking generous. Power company ain't that fucking generous. They're charging me $80 to use basically no fucking power. I got a $240 power bill out of fucking nowhere for power I didn't fucking use. And the best they could say is, we'll give you a statement credit, but you still have to pay right now. You can't afford it. Fuck you. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm not a total fucking weirdo doomer on this, but at the same time, it's like, good for you, GM, I guess. Have fun with that. I don't know that this is really going to go anywhere, but it's interesting that they're developing it. And hey, I'm all for American companies advancing our technology. This will probably have a very useful application somewhere outside the automotive industry.
I was about to say, yeah, not in the automotive industry. The batteries are good for a lot of things. This ain't one of them. Unless you want to do what hybrids are already doing. If you can make a more efficient battery for battery hybrid, like
Oh
for
yeah, like
fucking
100%.
gas or diesel hybrid motors,
Like you
absolutely.
You want to talk about the electric motor, the future of electrics in vehicles? It's hybrids. It's fucking like honestly, hybrids are probably, if you want anything that's going to be the future of cars, it's probably hybrids.
It's always been hybrids.
Yeah, like
Anybody with a working brain
I
knows
don't
that.
know. I don't know why we went off the fucking deep end on this electric vehicle bullshit. Hybrids. Toyota figured this shit out in the 90s. Hybrids. I mean, hell, BRZ hybrid. 200 horsepower flat 4, and then maybe another like 80 to 120 horsepower in electric motor that kicks in when you put your foot down. There you go again.
Damn it. So I'm gonna guess as to the reason why we went off the deep end. It's called lobbying. Power companies were like, yeah, so if we can just charge everybody a lot more, that'd be great for our bottom line. And so they lobbied and they were like, well, this will be better for the environment because there will be less. We'll have to use diesel in the plants to give everybody the power, but we're already having problems keeping up with that. But we'll make more money, so it's all good, and we don't care. So they lobbied, and then they're also, fucking probably being invested in by BlackRock, which means they can do whatever the fuck they want. So you have BlackRock on the back end of it, pushing things along.
Give me plug-in hybrids and nuclear power that is so prevalent, it is literally too cheap to meter. I want to pay like maybe 1% in taxes every year and just not get a power bill. There you go. Just 1% of my income in taxes. I don't get a fucking power bill, and plug-in hybrids. So I can commute on the electric motor and maybe buy gas when I'm hooning. How is that not like the best and most optimal future? Why do we have to have this like dumbass version of the future where we have super expensive, super unavailable, super unreliable power from bullshit solar and wind and EVs that have no fucking range and catch fire when you look at them wrong? Why can't we just have shit that works? Why do we have to have this fanciful bullshit that doesn't? And why do we have to have people dick sucking the idiots that make it and acting like, oh, it totally does work, you're just too dumb to understand? No, I have a functioning fucking brain. Nuclear and plug-in hybrids, that should be the future of, like, fucking everything.
Yeah. I mean, it comes down to what they're actually trying to do is not what they're telling you they're trying to do. They're lying. It's about raking in as much profits for whoever's paying them to lobby as possible. That's it. They're not making the laws based on what's actually best or what the future is actually going to be. They're making the laws based on who's paying them the most to say what they want to say.
Moving on to another segment of yours, I saw some stuff about this, and it's interesting.
Yeah, so, I mean, people looking for a cool place to have a car meet. You know, the LA River is supposed to be this river, goes through LA. It's something that everybody fucking knows about because when it's flooded, it's unusable. But normally it's so low that there are fucking basically roads that you could just use to skip half the town if you could actually drive down there.
Mm-hmm.
But people wanted to have a car meet. They needed someplace out of the way where they wouldn't be in the way and they're not causing trouble down there. And so tell me why over 50 cars got towed. 2 people arrested felonies, 84 others were arrested for misdemeanors. They had 72 impounded. 72 cars impounded.
I'm going to play devil's
out of 100 cars that were there.
I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one. Actually. Okay. It is an active it is an active bit of water management infrastructure. There is non-zero danger associated with it, which represents liability for the city. I mean, you can see it. There is water in the channel currently. There are no trespassing signs. It is not regularly accessible property, and it was an impromptu meet. They didn't have a permit for it. Now, granted,
the fuck do you need a permit to go meet people in a car?
Yeah, from a purely legalistic standpoint, and I have heard this said. I'm not necessarily saying it, but I have heard it said. Didn't have a permit for it, so that's kind of the legal basis for this. You shouldn't be shutting down impromptu 100 cars, because the reason why you need a permit beyond a certain scale, and I say this, there's a difference between like a couple people meeting up in a parking lot and 100 cars in one place, is that 100 cars, it's really not possible to have 100 cars meeting up in one place that isn't like sectioned off and not disrupt regular
Well,
business.
for sure, not anywhere in LA. There's one, the only places that are big enough to hold that kind of meat are like major superstore fucking parking lots, and none of them want that many cars.
Yeah. I think it was pretty stupid of the organizers of this meet not to organize it and get everything squared away. I think it was pretty stupid that the response was to arrest people and impound cars instead of just telling them to fuck off and go home. And I think it's pretty stupid that this had to happen in the first place, because you know that if they had applied for permits for some kind of gathering and gotten everything squared away, the city would have said no. There's multiple layers of stupidity, and I don't think anybody in this story is innocent.
The city would have
personally.
said no, and if they had said yes, they still would have found a way to fuck them over on it.
Yeah.
That's just, I mean, really.
I don't personally think that I don't think the best response to that is to just say, fuck it, we'll all meet up in the LA River all at once. Not because I'm not taking the stand like, oh, you shouldn't do that, that's wrong to do. But just, you're attracting trouble that, yes, shouldn't exist, but you're still attracting the trouble you shouldn't be attracting.
Well, it's just, you can't, it's almost impossible to be an enthusiast in certain places now.
Yeah. I
And
don't
LA is like the biggest offender.
I don't
about it.
disagree, and I think ultimately the problem is the city of LA that makes bullshit laws and just does everything in such a bullshit fashion that this kind of bullshit ends up happening. I think it's kind of stupid to do this, personally, instead of just going, well, if I think the easier and better solution would be to say, well, if the city of LA is going to be just such massive pricks to any kind of basic meetup, we'll just burn the gas and go meet up somewhere else. I think that's probably what they should have done instead of just showing up in the LA River, and I think them being arrested.
Well, so
what were you expecting?
You have a meet in downtown, like all our the big meets in Houston are all downtown too.
Yeah.
Because downtown is like the center of everything. So everybody that's driving, you're using less gas because there's a large percentage of people that are coming from in town anyway, and then everybody else is surrounding that. So if you have it at one end of Houston, Houston is 3 hours across.
Yeah.
From end to end, like the greater Houston area. So if you have it at one end or the middle of like one side, it's some people are driving way further. Everybody's using more gas for the most part. And then you have the major metropolitan area all using the gas to get out there. So if LA's in a fucking, is in a valley, they don't want people using gas. Well, you've got to allow people to do stuff.
Yeah.
Or else they will go outside of your city, which will put more gas into your fucking valley.
Yeah, and what I'd say to the authorities on this is an example of what I say all the time. This is going to happen either way, regardless of if you want it to or you allow it to or not. Saying we're not going to allow you to have these car meets is not going to make them stop happening. But what I'd say to the people who showed up is, some realities you just kind of have to accept and work around. By all means, like, protest in front of City Hall, because that's actually what's going to fix this bullshit. But, like, if you want to meet and the city of LA is being fucking stupid, just outside LA. I mean, I hate it. I hate it. It's stupid that you have to, but
it is.
You have to. I'm sorry. It sucks. Life sucks sometimes.
I will
you
say
want it to not suck? Go protest.
Yeah, I would say that this could be put off by the city. If they had gone about it another way, it could have been, we towed the cars because they weren't leaving, and it was becoming a safety issue. Because if you actually look at the pictures, and I'm looking at more on Google about it, it looks like the LA River is starting to jump that lower fucking area.
Yeah.
In a lot of the pictures. So it could have been come off as a safety issue, and at that point they should have just told, because sending a bunch of tow trucks down there is just putting more people in harm's way.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned,
you
could have just told them to leave. But also, if you look, it says LAPD officers unexpectedly arrived to tell them they were trespassing. Okay, everybody knows that if you go down to the LA River, you're basically trespassing, unfortunately, because it's all fucking water management or whatever by the city. But also, if you're going to have it be a no trespassing area, don't make the signs really small, which is something that corrupt fucking officials do all the time. They make it so that you can't really see that you're not supposed to be there so that they can write you tickets. You know what I mean? Like, it's just another way for them to fuck you over.
I'm still maintaining my position that everyone involved in the story was just being fucking stupid.
Well, I completely agree with you. They shouldn't have met down there. They should have just used the gas and went out of town. Frankly, nothing They need to stop holding any kind of event in LA until LA cleans up its act. But
Well,
like,
protest in front of City Hall.
yeah,
Honestly, what could be a pretty decent protest is just show up to City Hall and park in front of in all the parking spaces and be out there with your signs and your banners and protest and just take up the parking spaces.
half you protesting and half
You
of you
know,
having a backyard barbecue
yeah. And it's
next
like,
to your car.
okay, if you're not going to let us have a car meet in the city anywhere else, we'll just get a protest permit, park in front of City Hall, and protest, and we'll have a combination car meet and protest in front of City Hall until you let us use like a parking garage or whatever. Like this is
Yeah. And I mean, also these are fucking adults that went out there to participate in this car meet. So as far as the argument for, well, it could mean liability for the city, when it comes to trespassing, anything that happens to you is on you.
that's not unfortunate. That's how it should work, and I
It's how it
entirely
should. That's what
agree.
I'm saying. Is that it's
That's
how it should
not
work.
that's not how it works.
Yeah, I
People-
know. It's really unfortunate. We need to change
Yeah,
that.
people can and have successfully sued when they trespass for injuries they sustained while trespassing, which is again, like I agree, that's completely fucking ridiculous.
Well, dude, it's the same thing as fucking some kid breaks into a house and then gets shot for fucking, you know, and then somehow his family is successfully suing the person that shot him for breaking and entering.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. This is what happens when you don't when you're just complete assholes to people who just want to meet and hang out and chat about cars. But at the same time, if you live in the kind of place that's going to be an asshole to you over this, I mean, by all means,
your fault.
protest because that's actually going to do something. But don't just show up anyways. Like,
Yeah, but I
Go
mean,
outside of
I'm
town.
looking at the pictures. Some of these guys are actively driving through fucking standing water on Google. I looked up
Yeah.
Carby LA river shutdown.
mm,
The pictures, I mean, it looks like some of them are in water. It looks like some of them aren't. I mean, I don't know. So it could have been a dangerous situation. Them arresting and fucking towing as many cars as they did, I have a feeling is more about just trying to get more money for the city because they're drowning in debt right now. But yeah, this was a whole fucked up situation. And I will say, to these people's credit,
yeah,
you know what they weren't doing was fucking active takeovers in the middle of the day.
that is true.
Would you rather them do this or would you rather them take over, like having a bunch of takeover clowns everywhere with guns shooting at people? Because it's the same fucking crowd. The ones that do the takeovers are also the ones running around with unregistered guns just doing whatever the fuck they want.
And while there shouldn't ever be such a thing as a registered gun, I agree in
Yeah.
spirit. I agree in spirit, if not in letter. Okay.
Well, okay, not registered, legal versus illegal.
In
Anyway,
the spirit of this being a car show and not a gun show, I will move on. Or
need
we're
to
gonna
make
be
a
we're
gun
gonna be in the
podcast.
weeds on some stuff that's way off topic for a while. Our final story is another one of yours. Holy shit.
yes. So we've been ragging on Ford pretty hard about major recalls, and I will still continue to rag on Ford pretty hard about major recalls. But in the spirit of fairness, I saw this and figured we should talk about it because I am a big Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram guy. I am. I love them. But Jeep, you gotta do something to fix this. But apparently
telling them to
this is one of those issues that's
Park
really
their vehicles
weird.
outside because it'll burn your house. What the fuck? A
Yes.
million
So,
vehicles.
It's an it's an electrical issue with the electric hydraulic power steering pump.
Oh, so it
Yes.
shorts the power steering pump, which lights the fluid on fire, and everything catches.
It goes up
fire.
quickly enough that there is no saving anything next to it, effectively. I will say that Stellantis really needs to fucking buck up and take responsibility for this because they had an initial investigation and they shut it down a year later because there weren't enough vehicles being affected. And then like 2 months after that, they started having crazy amounts of incidents. Like it went up like 100% or something. And all of a sudden they went, oh, we should probably open it up. So a year later, they opened up another investigation and now they're finally putting this out.
That's fucking stupid.
Yes.
Fuck.
So Stellantis is taking the L for this one big time. I
They
will
better.
actually give that. Yes, I will actually give that to you. To anybody that says I am an extremely biased person, if I was biased, this story would not be in here. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was one of those assholes that could not be fucking unbiased about things, this story would not be in our repertoire for today.
So they spent, what is that, like 7-8 months trying to replicate it with bench testing, and then another 4 months to try and figure out what the problem. How does it take you this long to figure out what the problem is?
Well, when everything's too overcomplicated, it takes a while.
I mean, fair. Aware of one injury potentially related to this issue, this probably. If it's 1 million vehicles affected and they literally have to tell people to park their cars outside because they'll burn their houses down, there's more than one injury.
There's no way there was
Fuck.
just one injury from this. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a death.
And-
So yeah,
and-
they're
and
recalling
also,
a
like,
1,076,000 vehicles.
To go to your point about cars being too overcomplicated, the header was manufactured with a little too much insertion force, which, because these cars are so fucking complicated nowadays, caused them to burst into flames. How many times have you, when working on a car, jammed something in with increased insertion force? And how many times has that resulted in your car burning down with you inside of it?
Like literally not at all.
Why are we building cars where if you use just a little bit too much force putting something in, it catches fire and kills you?
Dude, and I'll use my 2001 Honda Prelude as an example here. I'm pretty sure you could take a fucking 50 cal machine gun, full fucking belt fed, fire it at that car for 20 seconds and have it back on the road in a week.
Yeah,
Anything that's broken be rebuilt, and just like with duct tape, you could have that car back. And now these cars are getting, like, these cars have an issue with a steering pump, and they might need to be recalled, but they might also just need to be trashed. It's fucking ridiculous.
Okay, so we've got this problem that potentially causes our cars to burst into flames with people inside of them, but it only happens sometimes, so we don't have to do anything about it. Fuck you!
American insurance agencies, everybody.
You ever see Fight Club?
No, I haven't seen the whole movie. I need to watch it.
But you've seen the early parts of it.
I've seen some of it, but it's vague.
There's a whole line from the protagonist of Fight Club who goes into his job basically is this, right? He goes out to where they've collected cars that have had some sort of catastrophic failure, and it's his job to determine what the rate of that failure is, what the likelihood it's going to happen, what the cost of a recall is going to be, and see if if it makes economic sense for the manufacturer to issue a recall. And there's a whole point about how kind of cold and callous that job is. And this brings that to mind, that whole bit to mind.
Cold and callous is just how fucking business works now, unfortunately. It's not about it's about the cash, and it's about what the actuaries say is an acceptable loss. It's not actually about the humans. It's not actually about anything else. That is the offshore, and to almost the same extent, it's just the entirety of the oil industry is like that. We have determined that it's cheaper to pay wrongful death claims than it is to actually fix the problem. This is that.
And see, the funny thing is, build a car that has wiring harnesses instead of CAN bus. Instead of using this bullshit electro-hydraulic system, you just use hydraulic power steering, or no power steering. The early Miatas got away with it. And you've got a car that doesn't burn down with you inside of it. Stop putting bullshit in cars. We don't need all this bullshit in cars.
This story jumped out on me mostly because I watched a fucking car trailer or a car hauler burn to the ground while I was on a job yesterday.
Yeah.
Quit overcomplicating everything. We can go back to simple and nobody would care. And it'd be cheaper for us all, which means, we'd buy more. But there's a reason that there are so many fucking cars sitting on dealership lots right now. And it's because they're all too overcomplicated, too overexpensive, and break down too often. So nobody can afford them.
All right. Well, with that terrible disappointment, it's time to end. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you next time.